Healing yourself will ask more of you, more rest, more self-love, more letting go, more time for learning, more space for transformation, more honesty about how you feel, more time developing good habits, more courage to try new practices, more time cultivating your inner peace, more faith in yourself and your process. Hey, this is Nilofer Safdar, author, summit host, coach, healer, and you are tuned into the Genius Activator podcast. Every week, I bring in the geniuses who spend their whole life in the boundless realm of genius. We explore their genius stories and collect some cool tips on how you can spend more of your lives in your zone of genius where creativity flows freely. 5 minutes, 30 days, one life-changing question. Grab a copy of the $1,000,000 Genius Question to activate your genius right now. And today's guest is Juliette Stapleton, and she is an online visibility expert. She mentors, coaches, and assists people using the human design to realign their marketing with their authentic selves. Hi, Juliette. Welcome to the call. I am so excited to have you here. And I'm so excited to know more about human design. So I know that it's, maybe I'm wrong, it's a form of astrology, but I haven't really explored this in depth before. So I am really, really eager to know more about it.
Thank you, Nilofer. I'm so glad and I'm so excited to be here because we were just saying that we've been in each other's worlds for 4 or 5 years. We've been kind of, watching each other from a distance. And I'm so excited that finally we're meeting for this really intimate conversation. But it's like you're meeting an old friend. It's such a brilliant feeling. I'm actually getting all these goosebumps, which I will mention more about when I talk about human design. I am so excited that I'm getting to be an ambassador for this wonderful system. So you're not wrong mentioning astrology, although it's not like a form of astrology, but it's astrology is part of what this the concept behind human design is. There is a little bit of Kabbalah, there's a little bit of astrology, there's a little bit of a I Ching, the 64 hexagrams. So there's a lot of roots and very ancient systems. However, it's a very new concept, and the origin of it is very spiritual. It was actually downloaded by its creator, who heard the voice for a number of days. I think it was 7 days, but don't quote me on that. My dyslexia doesn't allow me to tell you exact stories. And then he spent the rest of his life basically creating a system out of the knowledge that he has downloaded through what this voice was telling him. Originally created for parents to parent their children in the correct way, because we're different. We're all very different. We, in terms of human design, we have some areas that are defined. So we have these broadcasts that we're broadcasting in the world, and some areas are open where we're consuming other broadcasts and sampling them and, creating our wisdom with them. And really, but we all have everything, we all have all designs. And basically the concept is that we're perfect the way they are, however, the way we are. And when we're born, we get this cosmic imprint on us, which defines some of the areas, and then the rest are open to sample the rest. Why was it created for parents? Because when we are born, we're empty blank page, right? But then starting with our parents, the conditioning starts, where there's a lot of rules, there's a lot of beliefs that don't belong to us necessarily, or parents being carrying a different design could make us feel like we need to behave in a certain way, because those are the biggest influences for us. And it's really, really true. So there's 5 types of it. I'm going to go very quickly through the concept of human design. Then it will make sense what I'm saying. There's basically 5 types, 4 types of human design energy. It's all about your aura and how you connect to people, how you're perceived, and how your aura is shaped. So it's all about this interaction with people through aura. And so we have 60 or 70% of population are generators. This is the main life force carrying, sort of enveloping, big hug community kind of oriented aura, you know, doing things together, creating, reproducing, you know, this is the area, this is the aura that basically creates life. If you think about it, you know, it's all about this building and generating. Then we have 20% of people who are projectors. I'm a projector. Projectors are here not to do necessarily or create something. I'm not talking about the creative process, but like build something together. We're here to guide. So projectors are here to just be who they are, just offer guidance, because we see our aura is more like penetrative, like a projector. We just scan other people and we see inside them better than others. You know, we just have this thing, but we have to wait to be invited into giving our advice, because we're so powerful and strong that if somebody is not open to our advice, it can feel really horrible that we're just interfering, right? And we will meet a lot of resistance. So there is the strategy that comes. Human design, every type has a strategy. So for projectors, wait for invitation. For generators that I just mentioned, because they have this life force inside them, you know, they're here to dance with the universe. They get the signs from the universe. How amazing it is. You're literally here to get nods from the universe. So your strategy is to respond. Just look out. You know, if you feel something, you will respond in your body. You're responding. That's the right thing for you to do. For me as a projector, wait for the invitation. Like Nilofer reached out, you know, I'd like to have you on your podcast. That's an invitation. Now I can really fully give all that I have, and it will be perceived in the right way. There's not going to be this awkward feeling. So then we're going to go into another 9%. We have people called manifestors, and these people are here just to initiate. If you light a match and that moment where the light goes up and that little sparkle, that's what they do. They just sparkle things. They come, they're full of creative ideas. They have these powerful voices. Sometimes my manifestor friends, and not that they always know about it, because sometimes their parents find it so difficult to deal with them that they, you know, teach them to keep quiet and, you know, keep their voices shut. The creator of human design, by the way, was a manifestor. However, they have powerful energy, whether they know it or not. If I feel like I'm procrastinating and I don't have sometimes the energy or anything of my own, all I have to do is, for example, listen for 10 minutes of a podcast from a manifestor, and I'm into action. They're here to ignite. They're here to initiate. And it's such a wonderful role for them to be. And then we have this 1% of people who have no definition at all. They're just here to experience other people's definition. They're called reflectors, and they're beautiful people, and they're much more affected by the cosmic forces than other people, because that's, you know, their defense mechanism. What fascinates me about all this is that depending on your aura and how you are in life, so say you're a reflector and you're then affected by everything around because you don't have this broadcast that you're broadcasting, you're just constantly consuming things. How do you survive? How can you find yourself? So your environment would be so important for you. If you're hanging around with wrong people, they will make you feel or make you behave or be something that maybe is just really negative for you, and it could cause diseases and it could cause a lot of misalignment. So it's important to be really discerning for such a person. And it's funny because I always thought that I never met a reflector. They're so rare. And then I found out that I was married to one for 3 years. So I know them really, really well. and it's very interesting because, you know, such a rare type, and they're actually very closed, even though they can mimic others around and the environment, but they're actually very closed in terms of their aura. They don't develop very deep relationships with people, but they would be really affected by the cosmic forces. And because that's where astrology really comes in, because, you know, every day we have this planetary transit that goes through the 64 gates that, you know, where the I Ching, the 64 gates in astrology. And so the planets are going through these gates, or the gates are going through the planets. Now, don't hold it against me. I am a marketer first, human design second, right? But the idea is that every day there is an influence that the planets are giving us. So that will affect as well, even sometimes what sort of connection type we are. You know, if we have some sort of openness and the day creates the definition there, then we can tap into that energy. We can be a little bit more consistent. So someone like a reflector who doesn't have any definition of their own, they can be one day, they can be one type, the other day they can be another type.
That's exactly what I was going to say, you know, so if they are reflectors, then they can be any of one of the other things, right?
Exactly. Yes. All they need to, maybe what would benefit a reflector is this awareness that that's what happens. That's the danger, is that they can take wrong influences, or maybe they just need to, you know, be discerning and then tap into the transits every day. So, you know, say if you're in your business and you're a reflector, you can say, okay, what transit is today? Okay, the transit is making me a generator. Today, I can do a lot of collabs. I can build something. I'll have the energy all day that I can just, you know, work and get exhausted in the evening and just go to bed and be satisfied with my life. And those are satisfactions of very signature feeling of success for the generator. But the next day, maybe the transit is making you projector. Projector doesn't have the energy of their own. They're not there to do. They're you know, on our planet to be. So that's where you can just be, observe. You can maybe offer advice if you're asked, or work on your visibility and offer advice into the universe, you know, and then the right people might see it, hear it, recognize you, invite you. And it's so interesting for me, you know, especially with running a business, something that when you start running a business, you're getting this fire hose of advice, and it's all so generic, and it doesn't discern who should do what based on their personality. We're only told, do this, send messages, invite people to your group, do this. Everyone tries to promote what worked for them. And for me, and here's why human design became such a big, profound influence on me, is that I am quite good at online visibilities. At some stage, they called me the queen of online visibility. I've been building communities and, you know, visibility for projects, for my projects, for other businesses, for musicians, for fashion industry, for so long, for 22 years. And I really, really know intuitively at the start. And I really, really understand, you know, how people perceive each other, what makes them take the next step, what makes them buy. But I also saw in my experience that when I was trying to follow those strategies that worked for other people, you know how sometimes we look at someone, we really like them, and we say, oh, if that worked for them, it can work for me. And that's probably the worst statement you can ever say out loud, because not necessarily, provided they're exactly or very similar, not exactly, we're all unique, but very similar person to you, same type, you know, the same energy, then maybe you will be more successful. Whereas in my case, I was always trying to be like the polar opposite to me types. And I not just failed, I got derailed. I disconnected with the passion that I have for my business and for, which is in my zone of genius. This is the Genius Activator podcast, right? So we're talking about this. And so how do you get back to that zone of genius, even if you know what it is? You have to really align yourself with who you are inside. And I think that this is my whole journey. First intuitively, then I discovered human design in about 2020, really dove into learning about myself. Last year, 2021, I just opened on the 11th of 11th, because I like number 11 so much, I opened my closet, human design closet, stepped out, said, I'm using this in my business. And I've been mentoring my clients ever since. And I think that it really, really helps, because it just takes that pressure when you're trying to walk through the wall, where all you have to do is just take either left or right.
Exactly. And, you know, that's what I was thinking, that, you know, finding this and people discovering what type they are according to the human design is actually their doorway into their own genius, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because, for example, what I mentioned about generators who are here to build, create, co-create, they're brilliant they are actually brilliantly designed for our classic working for other people or working with other people. That's our whole, society and all the traditional advice. It's all really geared at generators. I mean, generators still have their own struggles and frustration, and they also need to be aligned, right? They need to see the signs from the universe. And sometimes they think that the mind is the right thing to listen to, which it never is. But with knowing, like for me, when I realized that I am not meant to do, I was always trying to, even in my business, I was always trying to create offers where I would do things for people, because in my mind, doing equals value. And the biggest change and shift, and this is where I really think that I was able to open up that zone of genius, is that I am not there to do. I can do. I am a jack of all trades. The list of my skills is real long. However, it's not what I'm here to do, to feel that alignment, to feel really satisfied and actually value myself, where it is just mentoring and guiding and tweaking and realigning. And this is all that power for me I've discovered in human design. And the side note, as a projector, my aura, I said, it's like a projector, like a lighthouse, that light. But if you think about it, the light is not shining on the lighthouse, it's shining away. So I don't see my value. I can't see myself. Other projector can tell me something. My best friend is a projector as well. She'll be saying things to me that sometimes I'm thinking, wow, this is amazing what she sees in me. But that's how we are designed. So, for us to really understand your value, you have to hear it from other people. You have to see it through the eyes of others. And with human design, it just helps to really open your eyes and ears to that feedback. And then based on that, just through self-encouragement and self-recognition, get to that alignment that where you want to be. And then you can operate and open the creative flow. Obviously, it's not going to be every day. We're not Duracell bunnies, right? We also respect that there is a need for us to rest, and understand that rest is not laziness and rest is not procrastination. Sometimes rest is what you need to recharge. So you will just open up this next burst of creativity and do in that burst what you need to do in order for you, just to build your visibility or whatever you're in the flow for doing at that stage. Does it make sense?
Oh yeah, it's absolutely. And the other question I wanted to ask you was that how do you discover what type you are?
Oh, this is so easy. You can go, there's actually several sites that you can get yourself a free chart. Now, what you have to know is your time of your birth. I know a lot of people don't know the time of your birth, because it's at that moment when you're born, that's where your design is determined. So the date, the time of your birth, and it'll ask you a nearest city. It's just to determine the time zone. I will give you a couple of links to put maybe in the show notes. Geneticmatrix.com is one of the websites that I'm using, and it's really easy to create that chart. Now, the little hiccup is that human design doesn't have a shallow end. Human design is something that there's just straight away deep end. You're just like diving in, and most of the people, when they come across human design, they feel very like there's just too much information. There's so much overwhelm. So I'm going to give you a tip how to deal with that, because I think it's literally a permission to be you. But before, even though there's going to be so much curiosity and fear that if you don't know about every little thing that you see on the chart, and you'll get this beautiful body graph and you'll be like, oh my God, all these numbers, all these lines, what does it mean? I would suggest to you, just read about your type and authority. So everyone has an authority, which is how your body confirms that you are on the right track or you're making the right decision. For example, half of the world have emotional authority, and that means that they live in this emotional wave. So they're surfing their emotional waves. I don't know what it is because I don't have an emotional authority, right? I am a flatliner. Some of us are flatliners, but some people are constantly in some sort of stage of emotional, either high or low. And therefore, being in the moment for a person with emotional authority is a wrong way to make decisions. It's incorrect way. They need to wait a little bit while they're going through, if they were on the low and they didn't want to do something, before you commit to something, wait until you experience a little bit of a high, because it's going to happen. And then see how, do you still feel like that you're responding to this, you want this, then you make a decision. And I find that this is so cool. My authority is a splenic authority. Spleen is the most primal organ. It's responsible for our intuition, for our immune system, but spleen basically knows when there's danger. If you imagine a very old, like mammoth, very small brain, really smart animals, they just had this intuitive thing about what direction there's danger and what direction there is good food, and not eat this, because animals have that. I even look at my puppy and he knows when he's sick what grass to chew on, so he will get whatever he's getting from that grass that needs to happen for his digestion. And this comes from this spleen, and splenic authority is always in the now. And in the beginning I said I have goosebumps. That's how it lets me know that this is correct for me. This is good for me. So my body, through, and several different people have maybe slightly different way that they experience it. So it takes time to kind of watch your body if you have this authority. But you will see that when it's danger, I might have a little like hairs or goosebumps on my back, tension in the chest. Or if something amazing is about to happen that's really correct, like big miracles in life, I literally sense them with the fluttering in my chest. And then boom, good news, or something happened that I dreamed of forever. And this is so amazing. So this is your body, not your mind overthinking and rationalizing, and it's your body tells you that's correct for you, that's incorrect for you.
Oh, this is amazing. I love this, because I've been doing a lot of work with body-centric stuff. And literally it's been, what's a yes in your body? What's a no in your body? And this is what I've been, teaching my clients to look at. And my thing is to help people discover their genius through their body.
That's the only way. I really believe that we can have different paths to come to it. So human design is one way to just, make you basically just get your head around it, or just through observation. But I really truly believe, and I've seen this, and literally in an everyday situations, I can see how my body says, do that, don't do that. I'll be saying, oh, I'd love to have like a me day. I'm going to go to the shopping center. I'm going to buy loads of things. Just want to shop. I just want to do something. I don't know. I just want to do something for myself. And my body is saying, don't go. And I'm sitting thinking, I just want to go. So I'll go there. And that happened last week. Went to the shopping center on my own, thought I'm going to have a me day. And I was exhausted by the time I came to the shopping center. For some reasons, my body didn't want me to go. I was exhausted. And then I spent half an hour walking around, gathering my internal strengths to just take a bus and go home. And I was going home on this bus and thinking, I should have listened to my body. I could have just had a relaxing day at home, or go for, into the park or something like, something different. This was such an incorrect spending time for me today, but I was warned with my spleen and I didn't listen. So this is so amazing when you do listen to your body.
So I want to ask you one more question. So you said you need to know your time of birth. So how accurately do you need to know? Like, do you need to know exactly, or, can you know like between two?
Well, you know what, the thing is that it's good if you know a minute of your birth, but of course not everybody has that luxury. So there is a way you can create a few. If let's say I was born during this hour, not sure exactly what minute, but I know the hour. You can run approximate charts, maybe like half an hour apart. and read about them, feel about it. I think that even if there is a difference, it could be very, very slight little variables that are not even that important when you just discover your human design. Because when you come to it, ignore everything, just read about your type and read about your authority. Your type will explain to you what is your strategy here for correct alignment. Like I was saying, for me, wait for invitations. Don't budge in with your advice, especially advice. It's not about waiting, I don't have to be invited to absolutely everything in my life. It's just big things. Generator, you have an idea, well, look on the outside, because if it's a good idea, you will actually see something on the outside that will light you up literally in your gut, in your diagram. You have a mechanical system to respond that will undeniably tell you this is it, or you will straight away feel, and if you don't feel any of this, that means that it's not the right timing. You don't have enough detail yet for the response, right? So it's so interesting to know that manifestors don't need anything, but they do need to inform, because they're igniting, they have no patience. And sometimes people can say, whoa, 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 what are you doing, man? I don't know, I'm not involved, this is too much. So they need to just tell people what they're about to do, not to ask permission, not to ask validation, just say, I'm going to the shop, not just get dressed and leave. And then the other half is looking at you like, what just happened? You just have to inform. And knowing that literally makes your life easier, more aligned, better communication with other people, and then when we're talking about the authority, it's the decision making. There's some people who don't have any body guidance on decisions, so they need to use maybe a sounding board authority, where you just need to talk it out, talk at people, let people just be sounding boards for you. And you will feel, as you're talking, talk to several people, maybe you will feel sometimes if it's a good decision or a bad decision, but maybe you need to talk about it for 3 or 4 or 5 times. It's very interesting how this works. Now, if you completely don't know when you were born, the advice is to try and run your chart every 2 hours, and you will see, you can even intuitively maybe, slow down, meditate, slow your body right down, and just intuit when were you born. Maybe your soul will let you know, because sometimes we don't know at all. And I think that could be one of the ways. Or you can hire a Vedic astrologer to determine your exact date of birth. Now, I don't know how it works exactly, because I've never done it, or I don't have experience with this, but this is an official advice. So that's one of the ways.
Well, sounds great. Talk more about, how human design applies to business.
Well, yes. So this is where, for me, it's mind-blowing. How, first of all, how niche do you have to go? Everybody says, focus on one thing, focus on one thing. Newsflash, not everyone needs to focus on one thing. There's about 30% of the population, which is a subdivision of generators, manifesting generators. They're kind of like with a bit of a manifestor ignition. So these guys cannot focus on one thing, because they're going to feel so bored. They're born to multitask. They might not do everything perfectly, because they skip steps, because they don't have patience. But when they're aligned, they can handle so many projects, and they really shouldn't put themselves in one box. I have a client who successfully promotes 2 completely different businesses. And you know what? She sells them out. Whatever she wants to get, she gets as many clients as she wants without even massive effort. She doesn't get burnt out or anything, because she's aligned with this idea. Okay, this is what I want to do, because I want to do it. And, I'm responding to some idea that I've seen. Now I'm going to focus on this, get it done. Then I'm going to move on to something that lights me up, that it's something else. Because if I continue forcing myself to just sticking to this thing, I will feel so frustrated, because I just feel bored and burnt out. And this is just something that everybody says, focus on one thing. So you kind of think that's what I should do, but you shouldn't. You should listen to your own inner guidance and be who you are born to be. So that's one example. Another example is a projector like me, trying to maybe create a business based on service business, where you do things for others. And as I said, for me, I ran a digital marketing agency from 2012. I started it to 2017, when I started morphing then my business into coaching business. And I have to say, I have never been more frustrated, feeling so little self-worth, because my self-worth during those years was based on the feedback of my clients, but I undercharged, and I did not even think about ideal client or who I want to work. I would take anyone who is prepared to pay me any kind of pennies and do everything for them and more. You know, there was so much of this, just like me, just please, just this is how much I can do. I love your business. I love doing this for your business. And actually, I absolutely hated it. I was so frustrated. I was so bitter about everything because I didn't feel recognized. And I also I felt exhausted. And I didn't feel like what I'm doing has that, the recognition is the word, recognition. And for a projector to be recognized and seen for who they are, not like you do this and he do this and she does this and I'm choosing you because you're cheaper. That doesn't work. It has to be, I'm choosing you because you are someone I want to have on board for life. I actually have clients who said that to me. So this is the clients you want as a projector. You want people who see who you are, and it doesn't matter if you even lift a finger for them. They actually want for you to be their guide, mentor, whatever value they see in you, for just being, not for actually doing something and determining your value and your payment from doing. It's mind-blowing stuff. Really is mind-blowing. Manifestor, as I said, we're here to create sparkle. So if a manifestor tries to build something and follow through, and they're going to get so angry at themselves and frustrated, because sometimes finishing things and actually building things out on their own, and they're very lone wolves, it's going to be impossible because they're not born for that. Hire some generators and then you ignite them and they will build it for you. So it's like finding these little tweaks that you can add into your business. And, talking about the zone of genius, for example, for my personal example, I have intentionally removed absolutely everything I do not love doing in my business. If I do not love doing it, I don't do it. And it was a very scary thing in the beginning when I started, because everybody says, you need to be there, you need to do this, you need to do that. And you feel like, if I'm just going to do things that I love, how my business is going to grow? Well, the big eye opener was the more I leaned into who I was and doing things that I absolutely love doing. So they were backed up energetically with that passion and the flow and the creativity and sharing. My business not just didn't stop, it's much better, much better. And I work less because it feels like I work less. It feels, because I'm only focusing on good things. You know how when you're doing something you don't want to do, it just feels so long and overwhelming, and it just drains you. Even the fact that you need to do it just drains you. And that was actually the reason why I decided to remove some things. I thought, how much headspace does this little task take me? I know it's going to take me 15 minutes to do this, but I've been thinking about it for 2 days. So is it worth it? Is it worth providing this kind of service that I'm just dreading doing it, or I just don't want to do it? The biggest thing for me was actually to let go of my control over accounts. I hate numbers. I hate accounts. I get so confused, overwhelmed, and I literally cried one day over my accounting because it's just, find it overwhelming. It's not for me. And I found a really good accountant, and it took a year for me to let go and completely say, listen, and she's brilliant. And I said, listen, just take it all. Now she sends me some reports every month. And she's like, oh, have a look there. And I don't even look. I just trust her. I know she is trustworthy, but it just became such a shift. You don't need to be in control of something that there's someone really trustworthy taking care of that. Take it out of your head. Use your head on what you need to do, because as a projector, I don't have this ongoing energy. So I need a lot of periods of rest. I can, for example, I can write articles, I can create lots of trainings, I can do things for 2 or 3 days. And if I give too much, I just like really get into the zone and give, I will be like a vegetable with nothing to give for 3 weeks. That's a pattern. And it sounds scary. And it was very scary for me in the beginning. I was saying, oh my God, I can't believe this. The month has passed and I only really felt like I was doing something in the beginning. Now 3 weeks, nothing's happening. I was getting really frustrated. But I've learned to understand that this is my pace. In that 1 week, I have done so much. that it can, feed and quote marks me for more than 1 month. So I can afford these 3 weeks where I am just being, and I can repurpose things, but I don't have to be creating anything. I don't have to be in the flow for anything. I could just, kind of do little maintenance things and go out for walks and really, just recharge from that burst of energy and get ready for the next big burst. And it's fascinating because it's changing the way my business and my life are coexisting, and this like work-life balance, let's call it, traditionally called, because I am not constantly thinking about my business in a frustrated kind of way or desperate way. And I'm allowing myself to take enough rest so I can switch off and completely, without any guilt, do something for my family and with my family. And when you're working on yourself and you don't have this 9 to 5 schedule, it's really amazing. Today, for example, we had a beautiful morning. It's like real summery, so I was able to just get my family out for a walk, even though it's Wednesday. And it's something that if you just have the schedule, this is what I have to work, you can't do these things. And now it's raining. The weather turned, and I'm very happy that I have this the leaning into what I'm good at, getting rid of things that are not in my zone of genius, and allowing myself to just do these things actually allows much more better quality of life generally. I find this amazing.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. I think I could be also a projector, because this is exactly my pattern. It is exactly my pattern. So, I mean, I will have this burst of creativity, and then I'll be like resting, and I'll be reading books and be, doing some fun stuff. And I would still get so much more accomplished than any other person that I know.
Yeah, exactly. Because and provided you are, which projectors make really good healers and guides and coaches, because we see others. We sometimes, the other person cannot see the forest behind the trees, but we do. So this is so, and we're so efficient, we can kind of tweak things. But it's true that it's so important when you're resting to truly rest, not just to say to yourself, oh my God, I don't know, I can't do anything, I have no energy, I need to work, but I can't work. And this pressure you putting on yourself. No, go read a book. Go enjoy life. You only have one life. It goes very fast. So enjoy, even if you say you only have one life in this lifetime, in this form, try and experience it in your human form right now. Do what this human form wants. Do this now while you can. Your business is not going to run away. When you get into the zone, you will feel it and you will give so much. And it's just then about working smart. For example, I use a lot of repurposing. So I will be writing content for my social media, for example, which is my Facebook is my main center stage. I only write posts these days when I'm in the zone, because I really see just a few weeks ago, I had a post that I wrote last year when I was in the zone. It was promoting a specific offer, and I haven't been promoting this offer. And I just thought, you know what, why don't I just put it into my automation and just post it maybe twice a week? And, call to action would be about this offer that I had. Why am I not selling it? So I turned on that activation, and literally the next day attracted a really, really high ticket client. That's not just this offer, we have been working for other things as well, and that was from something that was written last year. So when something is written with the good energy behind it, it's backed, it works. It doesn't matter when. So you can repurpose that kind of content. However, when you're sitting down thinking, I need to write a post for Facebook, you don't feel it, you just do it because you need to do it, you need to show up, and it comes out generic, it comes out passionless, and it doesn't work. It doesn't raise hands, it doesn't attract clients, because there is no energetic backing to that post. So I stopped writing posts like this altogether. I use a lot of, and I'm building obviously over the years, I'm building, every time I'm writing something good, I'm putting it into that automation that I have. And on those 3 weeks that I'm not going to have anything to give, I do, other things, and the post is still going. And I can do maybe podcasts because, you don't have energy to do anything on your own, but when you're with another person, you can
You
energize
get
yourself.
the energy and it just keeps going.
Yes,
I
yeah,
love it.
exactly. So you can do these kind of things that you really enjoy doing even more, but they're all adding up, especially with, if you're if you're marketing your business, visibility, things like podcasts, guest articles for other publications, they attract a lot of very, very hot leads. So maybe less than sending 50 friend requests every day, but the quality of these people who are coming into your world is completely different. So, and it's so enjoyable. I am so enjoying this conversation with you today. So that's
Exactly.
going to light me up. Yeah, it's just, there is a selfish reason for these things as well. You're connecting to someone like-minded, having great conversation, getting the chance to share your views. It's wonderful.
It's wonderful. Wow, this has been so like eye-opening for me. I've been hearing of human design here, here, here. And so when we connected and you said, I'm going to talk about human design, I'm like, yes, I really want to know this. I'm so excited to know this. And this has been an amazing, amazing conversation. So Juliette, is there any last thing that you would like to leave our listeners with?
Well, I will maybe let's go back to, if something works for someone else, it doesn't necessarily will be working for you. So it's so important that you turn your eye within and discover what actually feels aligned with you. Sometimes you still have to overcome certain initial nervousness about things. Maybe, you're a bit nervous going live, but then when you're live, you're getting a little energized. Even if you're not maybe perfect just yet, nobody starts perfect. We all really suck in the beginning, so it's normal. But if you have this slight energy within, that's a good sign that this is something that you can master over time. So continue doing that. But if you feel like, for example, somebody says to you, in order to get clients, you need to create a 100 perfect leads list and send everyone on that list a message. Well, that could feel to you like a suicide, because for some of us, it is. It's going to create so much resistance, affect your self-worth, really create what I call marketing paralysis, where you just, after that experience, so traumatized, you don't want to even do anything, even what that works. So what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for the other person. Human design, I have a little free, just 3 short videos mini course on my website that shows you what to look in the human design in order for you to try and align your marketing. And there's a little bit of an advice on the content as well, because there's another thing called profile in human design that is really perfect for marketing. So you can start with that, and you just have to come to juliettestapleton.com and literally scroll a little bit. You will see that free mini course.
Yes, I'm going to do it. I know my time of birth. I'm going to go and get my human design, and I'm going to go watch your course. I'm so excited.
Actually, I have a link. I think that when you register for that course, on the same page, there is a link where you can get your body graph. So, it's all for you. It's going to be very convenient. Don't have to go to many sites.
Okay, perfect. So thank you so much, Juliette. It's been an amazing conversation. It's like so many light bulb moments. It was like, oh yeah, I think I could be that. Oh yeah, I think I'm totally that. I just have to now go and actually check out what I
know.
really am.
You will really, I think that, and a lot of human design coaches say this, and I remember thinking this when I first, discovered it, started reading about my type. It's a permission to be you. It's saying it's okay that this is the way it is. It's not bad. This is actually good. Let's discover now. Let's discover what's in this. You were resisting it all your life, but actually this is the way for you. Just lean into it. And then it's just mind-blowing, because it really was waiting for you all your life to just be this. And it's lovely.
I love it. I love it. So once again, thank you so much, Juliette. And thank you so much for listening, you guys. Until next time, live your whole life in the boundless realm of your genius. I'm Nilofer, your Genius Activator Coach, and I'll see you next week. And don't forget to grab a copy of the $1 Million Genius Question, 5 minutes, 30 days, one life-changing question. That's all it takes to activate the genius within you. Bye.